So, Rocky Hollow front 9. I did the back last night. And try to show you some tricks on this one. I did the back with insiders, but I'm just gonna try this with pyros. I don't play it with pyros too often. But this first shot, kind of want to get it down over the hill. That pin's way over on the left, but we're still gonna try to get it down there and hope that maybe we can get some sort of a stinger shot in with a 1-iron maybe. I'm gonna put super roll. This one's gonna definitely come down way right once it hits, and I want to get it over there in a good position to kind of have some room to roll out. Me and the stinger don't always get along, but we're gonna see what happens. We have some rough to get through here. I like the 1-iron on this shot. It gives you just a little bit more loft. 110 to the pin, so it's about 130 halfway. So we're gonna say 110 is taking a little bit. Down from halfway. Online, could have hit a little harder. The rough kind of got in the way, but it's definitely a shot that you can hole out that way. Ooh, we got a weird pin position here. This is a tough one, especially with pyros here, because obviously that big arch gets in the way. It's actually pretty tall, so things don't really like to get over it, and the way that it's angled, you're going to hit it on the when you're coming down. This is really a terrible place, but I'm going to try something that I don't do very often, but if you can get it to work, it can be effective. However, I still feel like the distance may not be there, but I'm going to try a low tee, and I'm just going to try to get it right under that arch. And that's a good little trick if you can't quite reach going over. You can get under and still leave yourself a putt. So this one, it's downhill. Doesn't play extremely downhill though. When the ball lands on this one, it will take off forward, but if you backspin it, it kind of likes to stick where it is. I'm going to try super backspin here. And try to get this 4-iron just past the pin. You really don't want to get it too far past, because you'll see hopefully that the backspin that you get on this is very minimal. But I also want to make sure that with that 6-mile-an-hour wind, I'm going to get it past the pin. So I think I'm going to medium tee here. Not exactly sure about this, but we'll see. Play the wind a little bit. I want it to land in front of the pin and just kind of bounce back. It's right where I wanted it. You see it didn't come back that far, but had it been a little bit more on line, that probably would have been in the hole. The pin's down the far end of that green. I like the wind cutter. You can kind of get a 2-iron, take a little bit off of a 2-iron, and just kind of roll it towards the pin and account for the slope of the green. But in that case, I really like that shot. This hole, in the arcade version, lots of guys would go this way. That's how I used to always go. You can kind of get over no problem, but in mobile version, you can't hit the ball as hard as you can. It's just kind of a strange shot. I usually, if it's there, I'll like to go up here, even if it's not the most ideal shot, because you usually have a good shot with a high loft driver or a 3-wood over the top. So I'm just going to hit this up there as far as I can. Wind's going to play against me a little bit, but hopefully we can kind of get it up on top of the ridge here and give us a nice shot in. It's going to be tough with the wind in your face no matter where you start off on this hole. But so we got this. I think because I'm playing with the pyros and I'm losing some distance, I'm going to actually try Maniacs here, because if I, even with a wind cutter, I think it'll hit the, well, it might actually be an option too, to get a wind cutter to hit the edge and bounce down, but sometimes you can get a funny bounce off of there. I'm going to go with this. I'm just going to try to get it up there. Might even take just a bit off. I mean, oh, I didn't. I still hit it 100, but I think we'll be okay. I think I'm glad we hit it 100. I'll take that. Maniac stops almost on a dime sometimes, so especially with the wind in your face, the Maniacs is going to slow down. And now we got some great shot points. This one, I actually like this pin position because it's got some distance between that mountain and the pin, which means you have a little bit of room to play with here. This is a weird shot because that mound is actually pretty big. I think in this case I might club down and power a 3-wood up over there. High loft driver, if I were to hit power with that 5 behind, it might be a little much. And to be honest with you, this actually might even be a little bit much. But there is a left 2. Got the wind pushing just a little bit. So we're pretty much going to line this up straight, I think. And just try to get this, make sure it gets over that mound onto the green, and hopefully it'll bounce forward a little bit. Alright, high loft driver could have worked. I think that pin was kind of in the middle of hitting a full power high loft or a full power 3. Could have taken a little off of a high loft driver, but I'm still happy with that shot. Here's another one where the super backspin can come into handy. This one plays very short. However, we got a little bit of wind in our back, so I think we'll be safe with a 4-iron here. We're going to play it so that it gets blown over there by the wind just a bit to the left, and hopefully the super back will bring it right back down towards the hole. That wind is really in our favor for getting the 4-iron there. So even in this case too, I may take just a touch off. This time I actually will. And hopefully it gets up past that hole and comes back. Yep, could have taken a little more off, but I still like that shot. I like the super backspin sometimes if it's in a controllable situation like that. This one, I'm not going to get too in-depth on this one because I have another video that if you want to watch it, you can watch the 3 ways. The one in the video that I actually took the shot was where I shot down here. I showed you a couple other options. Because of the wind here, I'm going to take this option over here right now. And I'm just going to try to lay it up. There's a little ridge right on the other side here, right there, that you want to kind of land on top of. And we'll show you what the next shot can be as long as you get up there. Hopefully I do. Count for the wind a little bit. You don't want to get too left here. But with that wind, I think I can hit this pretty hard. And as long as you're in the green, you're good. So this next shot, anything 3-wood or loftier, we'll get over. It's way uphill, so it's going to play short. So even though it looks like I'm like dead on right there, I'm still going to use a Maniacs because it should land a little before the hole. This may go past the hole when it lands, but you know, in the interest of trying to get a hole out, you want it to kind of do that. A little bit past the hole, but I'd say that that was the right shot. Got some good great shot points going on here. This hole's interesting, especially from this tee box. You kind of up high. You can get over there with like a 3-wood, 4-wood, mostly insiders. Obviously, you don't have that kind of distance right now. Maybe with that, with a power, you could, but you're not really looking at the best placement here for that shot. Look at the high loft. Here's a good example of a place where I am not all that familiar with the pyros on this. So this could get interesting. We'll just leave it at that. So I'm going to try to curl it around this side. I don't really like where the pin is compared to you know, trying to go over the left side of this mountain. So I'm actually just going to try to curl it around the outside. You don't want to curl it too much or we're going to be in the mountain. But you want to curl it enough that it gets over there far enough to land on the green. And I am not sure how this is going to play out. I'd say that worked out just fine. The tiny curl on that shot, no matter what, if you're going around the right hand side, is really important. If the pin is over there on the right, if the pin is way on the left, you can Maniacs a pretty decent size curl with a 3-wood, 4-wood, and kind of the same effect happens, but you get around further over to the left there. So pretty good round so far. This next one, a lot of guys have been chipping with like a 2-iron. I've experimented with that a lot, or a little, just a little, not a whole lot. But for where this pin is especially, seems like a sketchy shot to try that because there really isn't much room before the pin. So you're going to want to, if you're going to chip, you want it to run a little bit, and there's not much room for running right there. You got a touch of wind in your face when you use there's 6 mile an hour without, there's 1.5 with the wind cutter on. Super high loft club, 9-iron. That wind will affect it a little bit. However, when it lands, it's down too. And if it's bouncing a whole lot when it lands, then it's just going to bounce right over the hole. So this is kind of a very finesse shot where you want to kind of get it to land short enough that by the time it stops rolling or bouncing, it's just kind of rolling right next to the hole. But you don't want to hit it too short that you hit the rock. So I think I'm going to take just a little off. I moved just a little over to account for the left one. Maybe just a touch more. And see if I can finesse this right in there. There is a little wind pushing against, which is actually in this case working in my favor. So we'll see. If it lands short enough, I could get the right rollout. I hit it a little long, but you see the idea. If I landed that a little shorter, by the time it's rolling, good chance for it to go in. So that's Rocky Hollow front 9. Like I said, on hole 7, check out the other video I have that gives you a couple different options for that hole. All right, see ya.